In the dim glow of a cold dawn, Nora Ashford stood trembling, clutching her worn carpet bag. Her father's words sliced through her like a blade, "You're not staying here." In her parents' kitchen, the air was heavy with rejection. "Papa, please," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I can work. I can help with help." But her mother's voice, sharp as broken glass, cut deeper. "You've been nothing but a burden since the day you were born. We married you off at 17, thinking you'd finally be someone else's problem. And now you're back." Nora's throat tightened. "Thomas died of fever." "I didn't." Her father interrupted, his tone merciless. "Doesn't matter what killed him. What matters is what people say. They say you worked him to death. Say your weight broke his back. Say God punished him for marrying a woman like you." Her mother crossed her arms, venom in her eyes. "The neighbors mock us. The church whispers. We can't keep you here." She shoved a train ticket into Nora's shaking hands. "There's a wagon of mail-order brides leaving for Ridgewood territory. You're going with them." "But I'm not a bride," Nora said, her voice frail. "No one wants," her mother snapped, "then you'll find work. A kitchen, a boarding house, anything. But you are not staying here." Her father grabbed her arm, pulling her toward the door. "Train leaves in an hour. Don't come back." The door slammed shut. Alone, tears streaming down her face, Nora stood cast out again. At the train station, 3 young women in bright dresses giggled near the platform, their hopeful chatter a stark contrast to Nora's despair. The mail-order brides, pretty and confident, glanced at her and whispered, "Who's that? She doesn't look like a bride. Maybe she's going as livestock." Laughter erupted. Nora clutched her bag tighter, eyes fixed on the ground. The station master called out, "All brides boarding for Ridgewood territory." A man's voice rang from the crowd, cruel and mocking. "Hold on. Who let her on? She'll sink the whole train." More laughter burned her face. But Nora climbed aboard, finding a seat in the back corner, away from the others. As the train pulled away, she stared out the window at the town she'd never see again, 23 years old, a widow, unwanted, and completely alone. Hours later, Ridgewood Station buzzed with ranchers and townsfolk eager to greet the brides. The 3 young women stepped off first, met with smiles and tipped hats. Then Nora stepped down. The crowd fell silent. A rancher muttered, "Who's that?" "She's not on the list." The station master, frowning, checked his clipboard. "We were expecting 3 brides, not 4. Nora's voice was a whisper. "I'm not a bride. I'm traveling to my sister's in Silver Pine. I just needed to stop here for." A woman's voice, dripping with mockery, cut through. "Or were you hoping some desperate fool would take you?" Laughter rippled. "Look at the size of her. She's too wide to wed." Someone began chanting softly, "Too wide to wed. Too wide to wed." Others joined in. Nora's hands trembled, her heart sinking as she stepped back toward the train, wishing she could disappear. Then, 2 small voices pierced the noise. "We want this one, Daddy." The crowd turned. 2 little girls, identical twins in bright blue dresses, broke free and ran past the pretty brides, stopping before Nora. Their wide, serious eyes gazed up at her. "She's perfect," the first girl said. "She looks like the mama in our storybook." The second grabbed Nora's hand. "Please, Daddy, we want her." Gasps spread. The station master laughed nervously. "Girls, that's not one of the brides. She's just, we want this one," the first shouted louder. A tall, broad-shouldered man stepped forward, his face shadowed by his hat's brim. His boot struck the wooden platform with deliberate weight. The crowd parted as he approached, stopping before Nora. His expression was unreadable, not cruel, not kind, just assessing. "You need a place to stay." His voice was low, rough. Nora stammered, I was going to." Simple question. You need a place or not? Yes, she whispered. Then you'll come with us. The station master sputtered, Caleb, you can't be serious. Caleb's eyes never left Norah. My daughters made their choice. He turned toward a wagon at the platform's edge. The twins grabbed Norah's hands, pulling her forward. Behind them, whispers erupted. He's taking her? Those girls have lost their minds. She'll eat him out of house and home. The wagon rolled over uneven ground, wheels creaking, dust rising in soft clouds as the late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the prairie. The twins, Lily and Rose, sat pressed close to Norah, their chatter like bird song filling the silence. What's your name? Lily asked, tilting her head. Norah, she answered softly. I'm Lily, and that's Rose. We're twins. I can see that, Norah said, a faint smile tugging her lips. Rose leaned closer, whispering, Do you like horses? I suppose I do. Good, Lily said, nodding seriously. Because Daddy has lots of horses and cows and chickens, and sometimes the chickens are mean, but Daddy says they're just protecting their eggs. Norah glanced at Caleb, who sat at the front, reins loose in his hands, eyes fixed on the road. His silence was heavy, impenetrable, like a wall she couldn't see over. Rose tugged her sleeve. Can you braid hair? I can, Norah said. Mama used to braid our hair, Lily said quietly. But she's gone now. Nora's chest tightened. I'm sorry. It's okay, Rose said, eyes wide and innocent. Daddy says she's with the angels. But we miss her. I'm sure you do, Norah whispered. The ranch came into view as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. It was larger than Norah expected, a sturdy house with a wide porch, a leaning barn, sagging fences stretching into the distance. Laundry hung limp on a line, half-dried, forgotten. The vegetable garden was overrun with weeds. Caleb pulled the wagon to a stop and climbed down without a word. The twins scrambled out, pulling Norah along. Inside, the house was dim, dust floating in shafts of light. Dishes stacked in the basin, a shirt draped over a chair, the floor barely swept. Caleb gestured to a narrow hallway. Rooms down there. Second door. You can stay there. Norah nodded. Thank you. He didn't respond, just walked to the kitchen, his boots heavy on the wooden floor. The twins led her to their small, tidy room, two narrow beds with worn quilts, a wooden doll on one pillow, its painted face faded, a cracked mirror on the wall. This is where we sleep, Lily said proudly. It's very nice, Norah said softly. Rose climbed onto her bed, patting the space beside her. Will you sit with us? Norah sat, the girls nestling close. Tell us a story, Lily said. I don't know many stories, Norah admitted. That's okay, Rose said. Just make one up. So Norah spun a tale of a girl in a valley where flowers grew taller than trees, and every star had a name. The girls listened, eyes wide, until their breathing slowed, heads heavy against her arms. Norah glanced up and froze. Caleb stood in the doorway, silent, watching. Their eyes met briefly, something flickering in his gaze, something she couldn't name. Then he turned and walked away. Before dawn, Norah woke, restless. She couldn't just sit, she never could. She lit the stove, filled the basin, and scrubbed. By sunrise, the dishes were clean, the table wiped, the floor swept. The twins appeared, rubbing their eyes. You're awake, Lily said, surprised. I am, Norah smiled. Are you making breakfast? Rose asked hopefully. I can. She found flour, eggs, bacon, and cooked while the girls watched, legs swinging. When Caleb entered from the barn, he stopped, his gaze sweeping the clean kitchen, the food on the table, the twins eating. You didn't have to do this, he said. I know, Norah replied quietly. But I wanted to. He sat, served himself, and ate in silence. But he didn't send the food back, didn't tell her to stop, didn't call her a guest. And when he stood, Hat in hand, he paused at the door. If you're going to stay, you'll need boots. Yours won't last a week. Then he walked out. Nora's heart beat faster. It wasn't kindness, not exactly, but it wasn't cruelty either. For her, that was more than enough. Days bled into one another, marked by chores, sweat, and the rhythm of ranch life. Nora scrubbed floors until her knees ached, hauled water until her shoulders burned, mended fences, pulled weeds, kneaded dough until her hands cramped. She didn't complain, didn't expect praise, she worked because it was the only way she'd ever proved her worth. Caleb watched, not obviously, but she felt his eyes when she carried laundry, fed horses, or bent over the garden, dirt under her nails. He nodded at finished tasks, left tools within reach, and one morning, set worn boots on her doorstep without a word. The twins followed her everywhere, chattering like sparrows, helping clumsily. One afternoon, kneeling in the garden, Nora yanked a thick weed as Lily asked, "Why do weeds grow?" "Because they're stubborn," Nora said. "They don't care if they're wanted or not." Rose frowned. "That's sad. Nobody wants them, but they're just trying to live." Nora paused, her chest tightening. "You're right," she said softly. "They are." Lily leaned closer. "Do you think weeds know they're weeds?" Nora smiled faintly. "Maybe they think they're flowers." "Then we should let them stay," Rose said firmly. "Maybe a few," Nora agreed. "But not all, or there won't be room for the vegetables." One evening, kneading bread, Nora heard Caleb enter, smelling of leather, dust, and horses. He poured water, drank, and set the cup down. "You don't have to do all this," he said. "I know," she replied, pressing the dough. "Then why do you?" She folded the dough, pressing again. "Because I need to earn my place." Caleb pulled out a chair and Saturday you already have a place. Nora looked at him, surprised. His eyes were steady, not cold. "You don't owe me anything. You're not a servant here." "Then what am I?" she asked quietly. He didn't answer immediately, his jaw working. "You're someone my daughters chose," he said finally. "And they don't choose wrong." Nora's throat tightened. "Thank you," she whispered. Caleb stood, the chair scraping. "My wife died 2 years ago. Fever took her fast. I couldn't save her. The girls don't remember much, just her voice, her smell, the way she braided their hair." He looked at Nora, a crack in his armor. "They haven't smiled like this since she died." "Not until you came." Nora's eyes burned. "I'm not trying to replace her." "I know," Caleb said. "But you're giving them something I couldn't, and for that, I'm grateful." He walked out before she could respond. A week later, a storm loomed. Caleb stood on the porch, eyes on the horizon, the wind carrying the smell of rain and danger. "Storm's coming," he said. Nora stepped beside him, wiping her hands on her apron. "A bad one?" "Could be." The twins ran out, excited. "Can we watch the lightning, Daddy?" "No," Caleb said firmly. "Inside now." They obeyed reluctantly. He looked at Nora. "You should stay in too." "What about the cattle?" "I'll handle it." "You can't do it alone." His jaw tightened. "I've done it before." "Not tonight," Nora said, voice steady. "Tonight, you have help." He stared, something shifting in his eyes, then nodded. "Get a coat. It's going to get rough." The storm hit like a fist, rain in relentless sheets, wind tearing at clothes and breath. Caleb and Nora ran to the pasture, where cattle panicked, hooves pounding mud. "They'll stampede if we don't calm them," Caleb shouted. Nora didn't hesitate, running to a cow, arms wide, voice steady. "Easy, easy now. You're all right." The cow shifted but didn't bolt. Caleb watched, stunned, then moved to the next. Together, they guided the herd toward the barn. Thunder cracked, lightning split the sky, then a scream. Lily and Rose stood at the pasture's edge, soaked, frozen in fear. "What are you doing out here?" Caleb roared. "We wanted to help," Lily cried. A cow charged toward them. Norah ran, throwing herself between the cow and the twins, voice sharp. "No, stop!" The cow veered away. Norah collapsed, the twins crashing into her, sobbing. Caleb pulled them all into his arms. "You could have been killed," he said, voice shaking. Norah looked up, rain streaming down her face. "So could you?" In the mud, the storm raging, something real shifted between them. The storm passed, leaving the land washed clean but the twins pale and coughing. Norah moved between their beds, changing clothes, stirring broth, eyes red from sleeplessness. Caleb stood in the doorway, offering help. She shook her head. "They just need watching," she whispered. For 2 days, she barely left them. When Lily reached for her hand, Norah clasped it. "You'll stay here, won't you?" Lily murmured. "I will," Norah said. "All night." Rose stirred. "Do mamas do that?" "Stay all night." Norah's throat caught. "The good ones try to." Rose smiled faintly and slept. Caleb watched, silent, as Norah brushed hair from their foreheads, her movements gentle. Days changed. Caleb worked beside her now, talked, asked questions. "Where did you learn to handle cattle?" he asked, mending a fence. "My husband had a small farm," Norah said. "I helped with everything. He didn't give me much choice." Caleb glanced at her. "You didn't love him?" "It wasn't a question." "No," she said, hammering a nail. "But I tried to be a good wife." "I'm sure you were." He didn't think so. Caleb stopped, facing her. "Then he was a fool. You're one of the strongest people I've ever met. Anyone who couldn't see that doesn't deserve you." Norah's chest tightened. "Thank you," she whispered. His hand brushed hers, then he turned back to the fence. One afternoon, the twins begged to help with biscuits. Norah gave in, tying oversized aprons, rolling up sleeves. Lily poured flour, too much, too fast. A white cloud burst, coating everything. Norah gasped, her hair and dress ghosted white. Silence, then laughter. "You look like a snow lady." Rose squealed. Norah tried to glare but smiled. "You two are trouble." "Daddy!" Lily shouted. Caleb appeared, took one look, and laughed, deep, unguarded. "You planning to bake or start a blizzard?" "Both, apparently," Norah said, wiping her face. Rose flung flour at Caleb, hitting his chest. Silence. Then Norah laughed, bright and helpless. Caleb stepped forward, eyes on her, brushing flour gently across her cheek. The twins screamed with laughter. His thumb lingered, soft, deliberate. Their eyes met through the flour dust, the air still, tender, charged. "Daddy likes Norah." Rose giggled. "We told you he does." Lily gasped. Caleb coughed. "All right, enough mischief. Wash up for supper." The twins ran off, leaving white footprints. Norah turned to the table, smiling. "You didn't have to join their nonsense," she said softly. "Didn't mind it," Caleb replied, his voice low, warmth in his eyes. Sunday morning dawned golden. Norah dressed carefully, hands trembling. Caleb had asked her to come to church with him and other girls, not ordered, asked. She said yes. The twins, hair braided, dresses clean, beamed. "You look pretty, Norah," Lily said. Caleb appeared, hat in hand. "Ready?" She nodded. The ride to town was quiet, the silence heavy with unspoken feelings. At the church, whispers rose. "That's her, the one from the station. She's still there, living with him. Unmarried. Shameful." Nora's stomach twisted, but she lifted her chin. Caleb walked beside her, hand hovering near her back, protective. The twins clutched her hands, oblivious. Mid-sermon, the Reverend paused. "Mr. Thorne, there's been concern about the woman living under your roof." Caleb's jaw flexed. "Is that so? We're thinking of propriety. And of your daughters." "Appears to who?" Caleb asked, voice calm but cutting. "To the community, to God." Caleb stood. "Let me make something clear. Nora Ashford saved my daughters' lives. She's worked my ranch, cared for my girls when I couldn't, asked for nothing. This town mocked her, called her names, made her feel small. But my daughters saw her heart. And so did I." Nora's breath hitched, tears glimmering. "If anyone has a problem with her staying, take it up with me. I won't let her be shamed." Lily stood on the pew. "We want her to be our mama." Rose joined her. "Forever." The church froze. An older woman rose. "I was wrong. I judged her. I'm sorry." Others followed. The Reverend cleared his throat. "I suppose that settles it." Outside, under the wide blue sky, Caleb stopped. "Nora Ashford," he said, voice rough. "I'm not a man of fancy words. But I know what I want, and I want you, and not because my daughters chose you, not because you fit, but because you're the strongest, kindest, most stubborn woman I've ever known. I don't want to spend another day without you." He dropped to one knee. The twins gasped. "Will you marry me?" Tears spilled down Nora's face. "Yes," she whispered, then stronger, "Yes, I will." He pulled her into his arms, the twins wrapping around them, laughing, crying. The townsfolk watched, some smiled, some whispered, some turned away. Nora didn't care. She wasn't too much. She was enough. She was home. And so, Nora Ashford found what she'd searched for her whole life, a family that chose her, not in spite of who she was, but because of it. The town's whispers faded, the shame dissolved like morning mist. In its place stood something unbreakable. Because sometimes, the smallest voices, like the Cowboy's twins insisting, "We want this one, Daddy," speak the loudest truth. Sometimes, the people who see our worth are the ones we least expect. Thank you for believing in these women, for reminding us that worth isn't earned, it simply is. Subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the next.